Were you a Ren and Stimpy kind of person back in the day? Did you watch any Ren and Stimpies?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like a Ren and Stimpy kind of person, but I definitely saw some of it because I would babysit at my sister's house and in college, and it was frequently on. Not because the kids wanted to watch it, you understand, because that would be irresponsible, but because her husband wanted to watch it.
I can understand this. Well, my pop's here. He says hello. I imagine that means that my biological mother is there as well. I think, I got to show you something. So this is our opener.
Together from clips of film made under.
But Kerry hates this opener. So we strong-armed Dan into making us a new opener. Welcome, everybody, to Play for Time. I'm our host, Chris Brogan. Look, we can say hi to my mom. We can say hi to Leslie. We can say hi to Joanne. We got everybody here today. And here's my co-host, Kerry Gorgone. Hello to you. How are you today?
I like the new intro very much. For one thing, we shoot segments all the time. Like we're going to talk about today, what we shoot doesn't always work out, but we've got loads and loads and loads of video to draw from. So I was really excited that our opener now has pieces from the actual show. I feel like that is how it should be.
I feel the same way. And of course, it was our guy, Dan, who did that. And that was great. And I think it's just a swell intro. It's got a really good feeling to it. So we've got a new intro. We've got a new outro by the end of the show. So we got some stuff to do. So yeah, we're going to.
I have to tell Chloe something.
Tell Chloe something because I love this story.
So this is a little single white female. If you ever watched that movie with Bridget Fonda and Jennifer Jason Leigh, you know what I'm talking about. If you have not, I'll enlighten you. There's one woman who sort of stalks her roommate, and starts dressing like her and acting like her, and it's super creepy. Okay, so cut to my workplace where somebody has this hoodie on, and I'm like, oh my God, I love it. And I really want it. But I asked permission first. Everyone was like, yeah, I love your hoodie. Where'd you get it? So she told us all. And I said, here's the thing. I really like this specific one. Is it going to be weird? I can try to not wear it at the same meetings and stuff. But she was like, no, it's fine. She's British, so she could mean, please don't do that. It's weird, but she wouldn't say so. So I don't know. I have the hoodie. I like it. She's not here right now, so I feel like it's okay.
I think it's perfectly reasonable to copy her style and everything. And yeah. So feedback on the intro. Joanne says pieces from the show are a perfect angle to use. Chloe says it's all so fun with all the different segments. It's so fun with all those segments. I can't read today. But yeah, and I got to tell you, I'm so excited. Anytime we had one other person, Chloe gave us a really cool video from her out and about. It was wonderful. And we got a new segment from Leslie today. So it is chicken time up there, as well as we both know maple syrup harvesting time. So I got a video about chickens produced by Leslie, by the way, Kerry. So this is going to be quite the thing. I'm going to run it. Music makes me think we're watching the Charlie Brown Show version of chickens.
I like that chicken on the right. She seems smart.
Schroeder's piano. See, this is a real setup.
Now, if one of these chickens plays the piano, that'll make my whole year.
Wow. One's either an overachiever or one's an underperformer.
I didn't know they came in that many different colors.
And they listen to radios, which I guess makes sense. They probably happy chickens make more eggs, just like this is showing us.
Farm fresh butt nuggets.
Wow, that is crazy to me.
I wanted to say that, while I was watching it, I think your chickens look very well tended, I guess, is what I'm saying, 'cause I had no idea how many bad things could happen to a chicken, and I read an essay in college when I was a research assistant that got way into it, and I wish I could forget it, but I can't. But your chickens, they look like they're in great shape.
They look beautiful. And Leslie points out that her audio dropped out in the segment, but yes, they prefer to hear WBLM during the day, which is a radio station that we used to live up there. They called it the Blimp. It was the best. Farm fresh butt nuggets.
Jumping back to the intro for just a second, Dan said that he had struggled to find some footage of me because if you remember, we just switched to a brand new video segment format for the show, and I lost my voice and lost it for 10 whole weeks. So I do not feature prominently in a lot of the segments. So hat tip to Dan for scrounging till he found some stuff.
Yeah, well, we get to play that, silent lady black and white picture that Dan filmed on the beach. So that part got to sneak into the intro. Look, you know me, when I get excited about an intro, we play it a bunch of times. So here we go.
I still like it.
It's pretty good. So one of the things that happens in the show a bunch of times is we go out to make content because this seemed like an idea. Oh, yeah, it's a good idea to remind people. If you want to send some clips in, send them to chris@chrisbrogan.com like Leslie did, and we can get you on the show to see where you are out in the world and how you are extending your time out in this universe.
Show us your chickens.
Show us your chickens. I didn't know where that was going to go. Oh, so Dan has a point about, hey, just wait till they see the outro, which I read in Jack Nicholson. Wait till they get a load of me. And then Chloe. Oh, I guess she's talking to Leslie.
So I couldn't hear you. I thought maybe you were muted.
Who knows? Who even makes this show? Just a whack job. All right. Well, thank you, Chloe. So the other thing I was going to say is that every now and again, we have to shoot content for this show. The good of this show is that we don't do the interviews all the time. And the bad of this show is that we don't do interviews all the time. So we have to go out and get content. And so sometimes we drag Dan along, sometimes we don't. But almost every day, we're at least out there trying to find some content. And sometimes my ideas are cockamamie and they don't quite work. And with as much help as I get from the universe, sometimes things are still a bust. So I'm going to launch this in and we could talk about that on the other side of it. Oops. Not every trip out to get photos is a success. Sometimes I still get something that's worth it, but not every time. Sometimes I just fail. Lack therein of golden hour. It's okay. You never know what you're going to get. So it's fun. Like, take a look around here. Go look over to behind you now. Nice. But what is that saying like? A bad day of fishing is still better than a burn in the bush. It's perfect timing. Pretty much every time it fails, it's everything to do with me not knowing what I want before I start and just kind of winging it. It's another bust. I came here with a thought on a process or a plan we could do, and I'm not getting it. I'm getting nice people. It's a good people street photography day, but I'm not getting the other idea that I thought we could pull out. So this is a bust as well. Busting. Busting doesn't make me feel good. And besides, if I fail at making photos, it becomes a clip-on play for time. So there we go. Joanne says the juggler wasn't a fail, so I'll take it. Yeah, Kerry. So you get to ride shotgun on some of these, and you're probably just as optimistic as I am in that moment. But do you find sometimes that it's a bust before I've come to the realization it's a bust?
Yep. But it's okay. I mean, at least you're outside.
That's our show, everybody. Yeah, no, I think it's fair, but yeah, I think I think that's part of the fun and the misery of winging it is like sometimes you could pull it out, sometimes it's like the juggler and you drop a few, but I think we get. Hey, look, like I said, a bird in the hand is better than fishing at your desk.
I think that when we sit down and select like a location that has several potential things, some of which are of interest to me, some of which are of interest to you, Dan, even if Dan comes along, if we can drag him out, we end up always with a good segment. It's the pre-planning. And that was true for interviews too. The ones where we knew the person and their work a little bit better, I think we were able to take it in a more fruitful direction than some of the folks who'd sort of turn up and not necessarily want to volunteer a lot of info in advance, but the topic seemed promising. And sometimes it was, and sometimes it wasn't. So it's a matter of partly planning and then partly just dumb luck. So if you go out during golden hour and everything looks golden, you park the car and get out and suddenly a storm rolls in. I mean, there's not a lot you can do about it, right? Or if you make it to a place and discover that there's some event happening inside a building and you would have to pay to enter the building and they don't allow photography in the building, well, guess what? Like that's a bust. But so some things are within your control and some are not. But either way, honestly, I have fun every time we go out. I enjoy it a lot and I see something new every time. So I don't regret it. There's like a pretty rich chicken discussion happening in the comments. So I'm gonna share a couple of those.
I am seeing it. It looks like you give them a playground to explore. Do you have a lot of upkeep that you have to make? And then Leslie says, yeah, they're very spoiled and they definitely have their own personalities. Once I got their coop established, the upkeep is not bad at all. Food and water in a clean coop. I bet those are extra tasty eggs. To which Leslie says they are. And then Joanne says, yeah, Leslie, your eggs and chickens are totally awesome. I love it when I can get local eggs here where I live. I got a dozen in the fridge right now. Wow. Not a local egg guy. I don't have the hookup, I guess. And it's a little bit of a ride to Leslie to get eggs and or other supplies that she doesn't really want to have to give away, but here we are showing up asking for them again.
I remember when I was a kid, McDonald's had some ad campaign where if you went up to the counter and sang brown eggs are local eggs and local eggs are fresh, then you would get something for free. My parents did not wish to do it, so they made me do it. So they got whatever free thing. And I would just like to say that to this day, I have not seen any royalties or any additional McDonald's food as a result.
All I know is that at least in the United States, the price of eggs has gone crazy. So Leslie could be sitting on quite some bank over there. So I think she made some great choices in her homesteading. She did not pick there's a yield on what she has there if she wants. And now that she's got 3,000 chickens in one of those big giant chicken farms, we'll see her. She'll be big chicken any day now.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of people who keep chickens, but I know at least one other, and they were always saying, "Oh, I should give you guys some eggs. Oh, I should have brought some eggs for you guys." They don't say that anymore. I suspect they have a very lucrative side hustle now.
And as Joanne points out, locally in Oregon, the local eggs are only $4, which is better than Walmart. around here, Walmart's like the floor. It's like $4.88, and then every other store, it's like, $13 for some eggs. So any day now, people will be trying some alternate breakfast choices. Who's to say?
So I am in anticipation of the tour season starting, because in New England the weather prevents a lot of outdoor activities, during the winter. So a lot of historic properties open up in May or June and then do tours through maybe like October. And the tour timing schedule is kind of bananas. It'll be like tours on the hour between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. Like it's literally that every third Saturday or something. So I'm keeping my eyes open. I've got memberships to some historic society preservation things. You can expect a little more nerdery to come over this summer. We have some other ideas for places we'd like to go a little bit further afield, maybe back out to Western Mass, maybe down to Newport. Open to suggestions if there's something that you would be interested to see and can't get to, or something you'd like an activity or any kind of experience that you'd like to see us undertake. We're certainly open to suggestions. I am not going to skydive, probably, but like any other stuff.
I mean, that's kind of been the fun of this project, is that we could just there's this New England area show called Chronicle, and it is so literally this. It's just like, a couple of boobs wandering around trying to find interesting things to show you. Like, have you ever seen a winery in Massachusetts? Well, now you can say you have, and they'll cover a winery. So I like the idea because it is engaging, right? I mean, like, we have other jobs, we have other stuff to do. This has nothing to do with our work. And the thing I love about that is that, and we're connected to so many people that all have to do this, but they have to sell every time you see them on a screen. So they're always pitching their thing and having to say their story and kind of covering their red thread every single time. And that's how it has to be. But that's what I love about this show, is in someone else's stream, somewhere out there, they've got us just kind of making some entertainment in an otherwise business environment. Like, what was that thing that woman said on the Backpack Show? We put up a naughty segment and she showed up that day or whatever.
Yeah, the Backpack Show. That was the first day on the Backpack Show that we'd stream live to LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is sort of fussy about who can and can't live stream. And so you'd spent some time building up your post frequency and something. I don't even know. It doesn't matter. The point is, you put an investment in to get the ability to live stream on LinkedIn. And the first day we had Dr. Sunny, the sex expert, come on the show. So somebody watched it on LinkedIn and they saw the part where Dr. Sunny was giving tips for some types of things and said, I just saw a show about, I think, butt sex or something, I don't know, on LinkedIn, and I'm here for it. And they were super excited about it, actually. Their blog post, I was like, oh no, this could be really bad. Like, you just got on LinkedIn and they could pull the plug on you, if you'll excuse the pun. And they did not. We were able to continue streaming for up until today.
If you'll excuse the pun, that just shot right into my ear on the last second. I was like, oh no. Pull the plug. Joanne says, I will stop touching. I'll suggest checking out Rhode Island. I lived in Barrington outside Providence in the late 80s. Been down to Providence. I like it down there. Video may be collecting oysters. Now, we could do that. We even have clams down the way in Newburyport. There's Joppa Flats, which has not oysters, but clams. And then also the architecture of Brown University is amazing. That's kind of interesting. And as Dan points out, there's a bit of a great tradition of butt nuggets on this show. We've come to the end. Unless you've got something else you want to add, we can start to roll ourselves out.
I do. I wanted to tell you, Joanne, that my mother was a shellfish warden on Cape Cod when I was growing up. She did that job where she'd put on her uniform and go out with her waiters and stuff. My mom was not outdoorsy. And when I say not outdoorsy, I mean, she spent time outdoors sitting in a chair smoking a cigarette. That was as much outdoorsy stuff as I ever saw. But she went around to all the different beaches and with her little measuring thing and made sure that nobody was taking shellfish that was not grown enough to be harvested. And I thought it was hilarious. To this day, I don't exactly know why she did it, but it was one of the many things she did. So yeah, it would be kind of interesting to see what it's like to actually harvest shellfish.
Well, I have a feeling we have a couple different ways we can make that happen. But first, we're going to get out of here and make this happen. So now you get to watch the show ending that Dan created as well. Thank you so much to Dan Gorgone for making us a fun new ending. You know how we could get out of here this time?